Welcome to Coach's Roundtable. I'm Med Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. And this October, this marks our 17th year on the air with this show. We want to thank Armstrong and all of our fans out there. It's been a joy for us for 17 years. Hard to believe, guys, 17 years.
One of the things that George and I noticed, Eddie also, you go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Hey, I watch you every week. And it's pretty funny. My wife will say, hey, you get a walk out of your movie star. I said, no,
Yeah.
I always make a joke about it.
It's humbling. It's very
Yes.
nice. Let's start off with Spotlight. Let's go to high school tennis. How about Knock? The Knock girls doubles team. They won their fourth straight 2A doubles title, defeating Swickley Academy with the team of Allie Bauer and Lindsay Greb. For Bauer, this is her third WPL doubles title with different players, Libby Conlon and her sister Brooke Bauer with being the other two. Coach Nancy Conlon, she's built a powerhouse there with section, WPL, and state championships, and how many individual champions she's had over the years. What a powerful program.
Well, I still coach tennis, and we went against Swickley, and I talked with their coach, and I said, who can challenge you? He said, Knock.
Yeah.
He was right, because I'll tell you, that's how good Swickley is. That's how great Knock has to be.
Swickley had been a thorn in their side for a few years, but they've overcome it. Now, Knock needs a whole new trophy case to handle all the gold they're bringing in with their powerful Knock tennis program. You know, they've been powerful in girls volleyball. We're going to do their volleyball game down at North Catholic the following week. They've had a great athletic program there.
They care.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the teams we cover really care, and we call out ads. You know, when we call you, we find out if you really care. You know,
by accommodating.
By doing things the right way, and most of them are pretty darn good.
Let's go to high school football. Spotlight passing. Eric Kasparovich of Mars, 217 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and a 47-28 win over Kiski. The Planets put up 432 total yards. Jaron Brickner of Beaver Falls, 202 yards. Eric Boer of Karn City, 171. Graham Hancock of Seneca Valley, 160 yards and a 42-12 win over Hempfield. The Raiders with 412 total yards. Hancock's on the year now, 1,309 yards passing and 11 touchdowns. Ryan Palmieri of Pine Richland, 1 week he's a rushing leader. Next week he's a passing leader. He threw for 131 in a 35-13 win over Central Catholic. Rushing, Ben Lane of Freeport, 263 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 36-13 win over previously ranked number 3 East Allegheny. Elijah Palmer McCain of Elwood City, 231 yards and a second win for the Wolverines, 18-13 over New Brighton. This new coach has done a good job, Albert.
Yeah, Coach Bradley came in with a winning reputation. The kids are playing hard. That's all you can ask. Playing hard and getting the victories. When you look at the games that they can win, they've won them.
Ethan Pillar of Pine Richland, 190 yards. The Rams with 400 total yards against Central Catholic. Evan Wright of Mars, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kai West of Seneca Valley, 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Hunter Stalker of Montauk, 117 yards. Receiving, Gabe Hine of Mars, 4 for 205 yards. Trey Singleton of Beaver Falls, 3 for 167 yards. His last 3 games, 12 catches for 537 yards. This kid has to be a track star. Is he on a track team?
I've followed it. He's not a star. He's a good runner, but he's not a star. He's like, you know, state runner.
Yeah, but he has decent speed.
Oh,
Must
yeah.
be. He gets open. Micah Rupp, Karn City, 4 for 112 yards. Braylon Littlejohn of Butler, 5 for 77. Luke Lawson of Seneca Valley, 5 for 66. And Nate Gehring of Karn City, 4 for 43. Our high school football rankings in 6A. Number 1, North Allegheny, 6-1. Number 2, Seneca Valley, 5-2. And I'm doing something different here. I'm going to rank Pine Richland number 3 in 6A. They're 4-3. Back-to-back wins over NA and Central Catholic. NA beat Central Catholic 7-3, and Pine went down and pounded them 35-13. Also this week,
I want to say something about that.
Yeah.
That we saw them, and sometimes it's difficult for a coach to make a change in the middle of the year. And he said, we got to get Palmieri the ball more often.
Yeah, they've gone to a single wing
look.
look.
Yes, I went to him a quarterback, and it's really worked.
coaching.
Yeah,
Yes.
coaching.
That's what coaching is all
Yeah.
about.
They went from 2-3,
Absolutely.
and after that beat down by Seneca Valley,
Oh, yeah.
stuffed them, held them to -3 yards
That
rushing.
North Cali score, I mean, that Central Cali score is impressive.
That's a whipping
Absolutely.
they put on. Now, North Hills 3-4. They're at Seneca Valley. This could be a trap game. North Hills started off the season 0-4. The Raiders' last 2 games are Central Catholic and NA. They have to be on guard against North Hills.
Yeah, and that's one of the most important things that the coach staff have to guard against at all levels. The letdown. When
Looking ahead.
Yes. The letdown after you're playing good football.
And Erie Prep, powerful Erie Prep, ranked in the state. They're at Butler this week.
They're not any good, hey, George?
No, they won't have any players. They won't have any from New York either.
They've
Oh,
been
no.
they've been playing
four
teams-
starters from New York.
They've been playing teams from all over the country,
They
it seems
play,
like.
They do. They'll play teams into Canada. They'll play teams in New York. They have borders there. They really do. I mean, people live there.
Yes. Hey, in 5A, we have a new number 1, Bethel Park, with their 27-14 win over previously ranked number 1, Upper St. Clair. Gateway in there, number 2. Pine Richland, number 3. And this is the first time ever in 17 years we've ranked the team in 2 classifications.
Yeah, pulled a new one. Hey, is Gateway lost to somebody?
They lost. They got upset by Franklin Regional.
Okay, because I'm picking them right now. That's what I'm picking. I was wondering who beat them.
And Upper St. Clair is 4th, Peter Township 5th. All of these teams are good. Pine Richland, they're really coming on. Who's to say they can't win this?
Oh, they can.
And in 4A, still at the top, Aliquippa undefeated, followed by undefeated Central Valley, undefeated McKeesport, undefeated Highlands, West Allegheny 6-1, and Armstrong 6-1. Big games this week. Mars 5-2 at Armstrong, and then number 2 5A Gateway. They are at number 3 4A McKeesport. That ought to be a great
That's
game.
a game to see.
Birch, a quarterback for Gateway, and Bobby Boyd, one of the outstanding running backs for McKeesport. I'd love to see that game. Hey, in 3A, Elizabeth Forward at the top, undefeated, followed by Avonworth. Freeport jumps back into number 3 with that big win over East Allegheny in the showdown game. Bell Vernon at number 4. East Allegheny drops down to number 5. Knock at Freeport in the 100th year anniversary game for Freeport football. What a great program they have there, year in and year out. That DNA, football is in their DNA there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know from when I came here years ago, they have a tradition, and pretty much every year they're competitive at the very least.
That's why this show's so successful. Schools like Freeport, you understand, Friday nights, the whole community's thinking, I can't wait to see them play.
Yeah, we saw that.
And we got communities around here, that's all they think about. From August till football. And now volleyball's taking off like crazy. These communities are amazing how they root for their teams.
And in 2A, it's undefeated Still Valley, followed by undefeated Westinghouse. They put a whipping on Butler, 39-6. The Bulldogs picked off 5 passes, and they took a handoff. Now, I don't know how this happened. Their linebacker was blitzing. He took the handoff from the Butler quarterback and raced in the end zone for a touchdown. A lot like it happened at Farrell for years when
We
when
did it
you
all the
played
time.
there and coached there. They did it all. I know one year when I was coaching at Butler, we beat Farrell 20-18. They had like 50 yards in a game. They returned a punt for a touchdown, picked off a pass for a touchdown, and I think scooped up a fumble for a touchdown.
So who was the coach you talked about?
Bernardi
Oh, it's
would
Bernardi.
pass the ball in the flat. No
Yeah.
more passes in
No.
the flat. He told
Yeah.
others, "Come on, no more passes."
We did that at Farrell. Gone. They shouldn't even have been in that game with us
That's
that
funny.
day. Also in 1A, it's Southside Beaver 7-0, Bishop Canavan, Olsh, Mapletown still undefeated at 7-0, Leechburg at 5-2, and Laurel 5-1. The big game this week, Southside Beaver at Laurel.
I saw Laurel, and their offensive line is really good. And when you have a good offensive line in high school football, you can dominate the game from start to finish because teams get wore down.
And our feature game this week, it will be Wilmington at Slippery Rock 4-3. They've lost some tough games. We will be there to present that game, take
Absolutely.
delay. We're looking forward to it. Always great accommodations for us at Slippery Rock High School. Wilmington, not their powerhouse usual self, but still pretty good, George.
Yeah,
What are they,
absolutely.
5-2 or 4-3?
4-3, but I mean, even for them, that's a bad year.
Right.
But no, it'll be a good game.
It'll be a great game. We're going to
Absolutely.
see some talented athletes there.
Absolutely.
Let's go to our stories of the week. Buffalo run wild, a lot like in the movie Dancing with Wolves. Only these Bills were real bulls against the Steelers, whipping them 38-13. The Bills went over, around, through the Steelers, piling up 552 yards, the most yards against the Steelers since the Patriots put up 600 yards, a record against them in the playoff game when they beat the Steelers 55-31.
38-3 was the score.
What's that?
38-3.
38-3 for this one, yeah. But I'm saying it's a worse beat.
You said 13. They only had 3
it is
points.
13? Yeah, 3. You're right. But the Bills, 4 first-half touchdown passes by Josh Allen, threw for 348 yards. I thought they called the dogs off. He threw touchdown passes, 98 and 62 yards for Gabe Davis, who came out of nowhere. And the Bills' defense stuffed the Steelers, 54 yards rushing. Pickett, 34-52, 327. But it was a lot of chuck and duck stuff for the most part. There was never any deep threat. He had 1 interception, sacked 3 times. His average passing attempt, 6.3, and Josh Allen was 13.7.
Well, just no comparison to teams. It's really, really simple. And it was like that from the preseason. I mean, I try to tell people that the Steelers weren't any good. And, they're so spoiled. Not there. All Steelers fans are so spoiled. They can't understand. What do you mean? Well, there's teams do this for every year. And they've been good for 30 years. It had to happen sooner. Because here's why. They've only had 1 single-digit draft choice in 20-some years. So they're always drafting down middle and below.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you're
Roethlisberger
you're
was
not
bad, yeah.
They got lucky to get Roethlisberger at 13.
Yeah, but still.
But I'm saying they're not drafting 1-7. They're getting the hopefully good player, not the great player.
And that draft is cumulative, too. People don't realize when you pick, like, 29th, that means the next time you're picking 62nd.
Exactly.
It's not like you move a snake draft, like you do in your fantasy.
And the 38-3 is not really indicative. It could have been 60-3 because Josh Allen threw a rare red zone interception. Then he missed Diggs in the end zone. He was wide open. Then the tight end fumbled the ball at the goal line. Could have been a lot worse. Najee Harris, guys, there's something wrong. What do you think? 11 carries, 20 yards. He doesn't have the zip he had last year. I don't think he's healthy.
Well, we know he's not healthy, but also they're not healthy without a bad offensive line either. It's a combination of both.
And it's a good point you bring up because you look at Pickett, play action meant nothing because they couldn't run a ball. And then you look at New England, they beat Detroit 29-0, and Bailey said Zap or Zappy, whatever. He was 17 of 21 for 188 yards and a touchdown. But what made his job easier, New England ran for 176 yards. So his play action stuff helped him, gave him some protection, just made everything work out a lot better.
Any team in the NFL that can run the football, the play action works, no question.
And I heard on the week coming up before the Bills game, the Bills had 6 starters out, 2 Pro Bowl players, linebacker, defensive tackle, 2 defensive backs, their starting tight end, who was their second leading scorer last year with 10 touchdowns, a starting wide receiver, and yet they beat the Steelers. At the point, I understand Watt's value to them, but the Steelers are 10-12-1 their last 23 games. Watt's been there, George? They've lost, 4 straight playoff games? He's played in those games. My point is this. I'm not diminishing his value.
Better not.
They need so much. They need so much more help.
But they beat the Jets with him. They'd have 2 more victories, and so Buffalo wouldn't mean anything. Buffalo's just a class. They're playing Pittsburgh, Buffalo.
Then again, they could be 0-5 because they could have lost that game not for a bad snap against.
But they win the game because of Watt, though. But I'm saying the only reason they won that game. If Watt doesn't play that game,
I don't know that they win the game against the Jets because the Jets.
I know they win that game against the Jets.
I'm not sure, but my point is their own lost 4 straight playoff games. He's played in those games, and he's played a lot in this 10-12-1 stretch.
That's part you don't get.
Yeah,
they're in the playoffs.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
Cleveland's right now thinking,
but
just give me one chance.
You're missing my point. They got two major problems. They can't run, and they can't stop the run.
No, I'm not saying that. They can't do that.
Yeah.
And when Watt plays, they have a chance to win because he makes big-time
Well,
plays.
He's not going to be back anytime soon.
I know, so they're losing.
Because he's getting his knee just got cleaned up,
same
too.
time. I guess you might as well if you're not playing.
If you're not playing, right, yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. They have a long way to go. Next up, Tampa Bay, 3-2. The Steelers getting 7.5 points at home, which is unheard of. Brady threw for 351 yards versus Atlanta, 21-15.
You can't
Win.
knock them down either. That's the other
No.
thing. It's a penalty.
Now, well, the NFL, listen, officiating, you can't make sense out of it. Tampa Bay's defense, the NFL's fifth ranked, stingy against the run, and Steelers' old nemesis, Leonard Fournette. I'm looking for him. He's going to get 100 yards rushing. They're tough to run on. I don't see how the Steelers are moving the ball on this team.
They can't win this game. How can they win the game when they're not any good?
Right. Hey, NFL North, the Chargers 30, Cleveland 28. Second time this year, rookie field goal kicker Kay Young missed the game-winning field. Oh, this wasn't any chip shot. This was a 54-yarder with 11 seconds left. But let me ask you guys, is the seat getting a little hotter for Kevin Stefanski?
Well, Browns fans think they should be better. I'm not one to pick them. I didn't pick them to win the league. I picked Baltimore to win the league. You did. I think George, you did also.
I did both too.
Yeah,
I thought their defense would be better. Their defense has let them down. Lost that game to the Jets. Lost this game here to the Chargers. The Chargers ran the ball on them.
We just mentioned a second ago that the kicker. He's missed two. They'd have two more
game
victories.
winning.
They'd have two more victories.
They could be 4-1.
That's how spoiled the Steelers are with Boswell. Same thing.
Yeah.
When he goes out, you think he's making it.
Hey, Baltimore 19, Cincy 17. Wasn't there an old soap opera called The Young and the Restless? I'm going to call this one The Young and the Dumb. Why are so many young coaches passing up field goals in the red zone? Down 13-10 in the fourth, Cincy passes up a field goal in the red zone. They were down there in the 5-yard line. They tried to shuffle pass. It went nowhere. So it ends up Baltimore kicks another field goal, 16-10.
Right.
Okay, Cincy scores, make it 17-16. And then 2 minutes left. This is over. Justin Tucker,
Yeah.
he
Automatic.
kicks the field. Had they kicked the field goal, they're winning this game 20-16. Baltimore needs a touchdown to beat them. You guys tell me what's going on with these guys.
Well, George and I talk about all the time that analytics has taken over to the nth degree, and I can handle decisions like I don't like them, but when you're up 9 or whatever up and go for 2, it makes no sense to me.
Anything that puts you up 2 scores seems advantageous.
Should take it, right, George?
Absolutely.
And in the Kansas City game, I'm not sure. Andy Reid's one of my favorite coaches, and they take a lead over Vegas. It's 24-23. They score. I think, what's he going for 2 for? Why isn't he kicking it? Because it's 31-23.
Go up 8, they can't
You
lose.
go up by 8, and then I don't understand why the Vegas went for 2 when they could have tied the game. Is this all analytic?
That
driven?
is
Total,
analytic.
no, it's
for
total
certain.
analytics.
I just don't agree with it.
That is for certain.
I don't agree with it.
No, I don't either.
I
I don't think it's that easy to make that 2 point. If it were easier, then I could see it. It's not that easy.
Oh,
in
you
the
know,
NFL.
a lot of the younger coaches, I'm not surprised. I was really surprised what Andy Reid did. It really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
They're all going that way. Do you understand? There's somebody up in the booth. They showed in the booth 3 guys calling down. 3 of them. 3 analytic guys up in the booth telling the coach we should do this or shouldn't do that.
Well, here's what's coming up this weekend. Baltimore's at the New York Giants, Buffalo at Kansas City, and Dallas at Philadelphia.
Good games.
And Carolina fires Matt Rule.
He's a college coach. He's an excellent college coach.
Very
You
good.
know, so, yeah.
He left with $40 million, so no
Yeah, no,
GoFundMe.
don't cry. Right. Hey, here's the power rankings for this week. It's Buffalo, the Eagles, Dallas. I'm really impressed with Dallas's defense. The Giants, Kansas City, Minnesota in there at 4-1. You've always liked them. They're coming to fruition this year. San Francisco, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and the Chargers.
I have the 49ers higher. That's the only one I have different. I really like the 49ers team.
Yeah, you guys, the quarterback Jimmy G's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
As long as they can run the football.
When they run the ball, he's tough.
Uh-huh.
Hey guys, NFL officiating, I don't know what it is anymore. I don't know what targeting is. I don't know what roughing the quarterback is. I don't know what pass interference is anymore. There's no consistency in it whatsoever. The sack ruling roughing the passer against Brady was a normal sack. Same thing in the Kansas City Vegas game. That was a normal sack. They're really taking away a lot of aggressiveness by the defense anymore. It's all offensive oriented.
It is. I would think that after those 2 sack things, that next year they're going to put another new. check out a rule of taking it up upstairs and saying, "Do you think that was a sack or not?"
I agree.
think that's coming.
Or put a flag on the quarterback's hip. If you pull the flag off, it's a sack.
Remember though, and I heard a guy talking about this on the way over. There was similar reaction to this years ago when they cleaned up the defensive player rule. Now they just don't talk.
Yes.
I know.
Hey, college football, Pitt 45, Virginia Tech 29. Israel Anaconda, 6 TDs, 320 yards rushing, is 860 on the year. He breaks Tony Dorsett record set in 1975 when Dorsett ran for 303 against Notre Dame at Pitt Stadium. I was there for that one. I was there Saturday for Abanaconda's 328, and his 6 touchdowns tie Norman Budd in 1910. Bill Bourne was there at that game.
He was the coach.
Well, this brought something that hits me in the heart badly. See, I'm an old dinosaur. I admit it. They keep talking about these records being broken. How do you say that guy's name running back for Pitt?
Abanaconda.
He couldn't play that from me until Elwood City compared to Dorsett.
No.
But I'm saying all these records are getting broken because the way the game's played today. I mean, I'm not saying he's got good, but don't even compare. Like somebody passing is going to break Marino's record.
Right.
There's nobody close to him. It's just the way the game's played. They don't huddle. They give the ball on.
But I'll say this kid's good. He's got speed.
Did I say
He's
he wasn't
strong
good?
running. No,
I'm saying.
Now, the game balls go to Israel Abanaconda, but also to the Pitt offensive line led by Jake Cradle. They opened up holes that Jumbo, the elephant, could have run through. I mean, they just pounded Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech's bad, too.
This Virginia Tech team had put up
Wow.
400 yards against Pitt, and they had scored 20 points the previous total 2 games.
I saw them against Old Dominion. Awful offense. Awful.
And this is not a good Pitt defense. This is the 3rd time this year.
They're
they've
supposed to
given
be,
up,
right?
No,
No.
they've given up 400 yards 3 times this year. Next up, they're off this week. They're at Louisville, and then they're at North Carolina. Coming up
They
this
could lose both of those.
very well.
Absolutely.
And this week, some good games. Thursday night, Baylor at West Virginia, and then Saturday, Penn State at the Big House at Michigan, and Alabama, number 3, and number 6 Tennessee.
The one team I don't know about. I know they beat Auburn bad, but I don't think I have no. Penn State could be great, or they be good, or that's the one team I'm not sure about is Penn State. We'll find out this week.
Well, if they can't run the ball in Michigan, they're in trouble.
We'll find out this week.
They have to run the ball, and they better be able to stop Michigan's run. Slippery Rock 31, Mercyhurst 17. Rock quarterback Noah Grover 203 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Kyle Sheets caught 6 for 70. The Rock rushing game put up 201 yards rushing. Next up for the Rock 5-1. They're at home with Gannon 1 p.m. Saturday. Grove City continues on a roll. They're 4-1, pounding Bethany 55-7.
Yeah, Bethany's bad. Bethany's very bad. They gave Teal their first win in 5 years.
Outside of the CMU game,
Yeah.
Grove City's been averaging 40 points a game.
Yeah, you have to give the kudos to Grove City. In our 17 years,
Remember when
they've done the great.
they've had the greatest.
Remember they were
turnaround.
losing.
They couldn't
win a game.
Yeah, they
No,
never won a game.
no.
Hey, Major League Baseball, congratulations to the Pirates. They did everything necessary to lose 100 games, back-to-back 100-loss season. I heard a player was at Derek Shelton said 100 losses is just a number. Is that what it is?
Well, that's the reason.
Just
Why,
a
that's the
number.
reason why I don't like him. You understand? He says things that bother me more than anything. And the number one thing he said was said on the show again when he took the job and said, "We're going to have fun."
Wow.
I've never seen a great coach ever.
I didn't
say-
hear that coming from David Bednar.
No, and it doesn't come from anybody.
Yeah,
We're
David
gonna have
Bednar
fun.
said it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
To lose.
We're gonna have
And
fun.
Neil Walker said when they lost 105 back in 2010 that was embarrassing to do that. So here's what they did this year. Their pitching staff ERA was 4.67. The hitter struck out a franchise record 1,497 times. Major League Baseball's worst fielding team, 121 errors. Now they have a future Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz. I like Newsom, second baseman, and then Mitch Keller. I think he did a great job, turned it around. Of course, David Bednar and Contreras. But Cruz, he's going to be a great player someday for the Yankees, as I said before. They say the Pirates are young guys. The Cardinals brought up 6 rookies this year. The Cubs are very young and won, 73 or 74 games. Are you as excited about this future as they talk about?
I would be if I saw pitchers coming up. They need pitching because they still got 3 of their top prospects still down there ready to come up. My biggest concern, I know they couldn't sign Cole, so I get that. But Quintana started the first game for St. Louis. Anderson's going to pitch for the Dodgers.
Musgrove
just pitched for right. You can go right down the line. There's 5 more too. Oh, Morton. I mean, you go right down the line. They could sign somebody. They could keep somebody's pretty good. Nutting has ruined it. No question.
The thing about Nutting, he's first at the bank and last in the National League Central.
Absolutely.
And he's laughing at us.
You have any confidence they're going to sign anyone, George?
No, listen, I've been telling you two guys for years they're not trying to win. He's running it as a business, and as long as he does, there are no expectations. Have you heard one person ever say, why don't the Pirates get so-and-so? No.
It'd be hard for me to believe that Cruz and some of the other players are not thinking, I'm going to make my stats here, make my bones here, then I'm going to get that big contract someday.
Probably are all thinking that way.
Sure.
Hey, congratulations, Aaron Judge. 62 home runs, clean. We can go back and forth arguing about who's the all-time single-season home run record. I'm going to give it to Judge. I know people say, yeah, that's moralizing. We know what happened with Bonds back in the day. And congratulations to Albert Pujols, 703 home runs. Isn't it funny? He hits his final home runs in Pittsburgh just like Babe Ruth hit his final 3 in 1935 in his last game in Pittsburgh, and the first player to hit one over the roof.
The Babe. Pujols is probably. I think he's the second greatest first baseman ever. I do behind
After Gary.
I do. I
pretty
think
good.
that tells you something.
That's
I don't give modern players
that's
their due.
lofty praise.
Like I'm an old timer. That's how good Pujols is.
And listen, I know we could argue back and forth about all the home runs. Is it Aaron all time? To me, it's Aaron all time leader with home runs, followed by Ruth and now Pujols. All those other guys. I know they point out, well, Gaylord Perry did this and that, but they listen. They knew what was going on with the steroids. Baseball turned its back because they were making money and selling tickets.
Yeah, that's all I care about. The cash.
Hey, that's it for us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
We're proud to announce that in 2022, Armstrong has been named Cablefax Independent Operator of the Year for the second time. We'd like to thank all of our employees for contributing to our success, and a big thank you to our customers for their continued support.